are you? Today we're going to talk to you about a very important topic, and it is common mistakes parents make with their children. For this I have a very special guest, and it is my husband.
Hi everyone.
He has a bachelor's in psychology and a master's in marriage and family therapy. So as parents, we came up with a list of things that we think are the most common problems or issues that parents normally have. So the first one would be not showing conflict resolution. So can you start by telling us what is conflict resolution?
Sure. Conflict resolution is when people, in this case parents, they work out a problem and they come to an agreement and they get themselves back to a normal emotional level and regulation and basically back to happiness and peace. Most parents try not to have any sort of conflict in front of their children. But of course, this can be impossible in our daily lives. So what often happens is parents might have this conflict and then they kind of just put it to the side. And then they take care of it later once the children are in bed because they don't want the children to see any more of what has happened. But recent research shows that what's really damaging to children is seeing the conflict but also not seeing conflict resolution, meaning when the parents go in their bedroom or after the kids are asleep and then they figure out their problem and get themselves back to a peaceful place, the children never see this. It's really helpful for parents to also give the children a template of how to handle conflict and how to get back to a good emotional regulation.
The second thing we came up with is praise intelligence over effort. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
So I heard about this during my psychology education, and it was news to me as well. So what can be damaging is if parents praise the child's intelligence over effort, but to like a large extent. So saying, oh, you're so smart, versus you tried so hard, you really put a lot of effort, can be damaging later on. And the reason for this is, imagine Vicky is, a 9-year-old and I give her a bunch of math problems. So she does them all and she does great. So one version is I tell her, oh Vicky, you're so smart, you must be a genius, you got everyone right. Versus the other option was, wow Vicky, you tried so hard and you did really well. So when Vicky is now offered the chance to do another set of math problems, this time she can choose to do one more difficult or stay the same. Studies show that the child who is praised on intelligence will choose to stay the same. They're not willing to take risk because of the fear of not being smart or not being the genius anymore. Where children who are praised on effort will take that risk and they will push themselves. So of course there's a balance. It's fine, I tell my son all the time how smart he is, but it's not only doing that, but also really focusing on the effort involved.
Yeah, that's true and very important. The third thing we came up with was triangulation and how this can lead to parentification. Sometimes we use our children as emotional support. Can you tell us why this is bad?
Sure. So first of all, triangulation isn't necessarily bad. Triangulation is when two people pull in a third person to relieve stress or anxiety. So a good example of this is like a couple goes to see a therapist and the therapist is triangulated and brought in. Now the issue can be when a child is triangulated by the parents to relieve stress or anything inside their relationship, because a child is not at an emotional level where they can do that properly and also be emotionally well themselves. So the way triangulation can be bad and negatively affect the child is if the parents are fighting and then the child's brought in to make a decision. Well, this happened and who's right? Is mom right or is dad right? Another issue of triangulation is where it can lead to parentification, which is where the child is brought in to relieve stress inside the home, whether it's physical or emotional. So physical triangulation, child is put in, say, a parent role of helping raise their younger siblings. And this might look different for a 17-year-old versus a 9-year-old, but many 9-year-olds are put into a position where they need to get their brother and sister up in the morning and get them dressed for school. And then the other one is mom or dad had a really bad day at work, or mom and dad just had a really bad fight. So one of them goes to the child and says, oh, I'm so sad. Daddy needs a hug right now. Make daddy feel better. So that's putting the child in a position where they need to emotionally comfort the parent. The parent is the one who needs to emotionally comfort the child. So anytime that happens, it can be damaging to the child, especially later on in their future relationships.
So yeah, that's very important. So we should, as parents, all keep an eye on that. The final thing we came up with was forcing your children to finish their plate of food. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. I mean, this is a real struggle pretty much for every parent, including us. I mean, I know Vicky, I've seen her chase my son around the house with a plate, trying to get him to finish his last bite. But at the end of the day, we just want him to be healthy and full and sleep and you know, not have to deal with anything that goes along with hunger. So the issue here is, well, first of all, children have a very fluctuating need for food. So it changes hour by hour, day by day, month by month. So, you know, today they might be super hungry and eat 2 plates of spaghetti, and then tomorrow they might have 1 bite, and that's okay and that's normal. The issue is when we force children to finish their plate. No, you can't go, you can't have dessert, you can't do anything until you finish your food. Then we're teaching them over time to basically overeat and overconsume and eat past the point of hunger. And then as an adult, you know, that's what we're dealing with in the world right now is overeating and overindulgence. It's hard as parents to kind of find that line, especially with tricky children who might just want the ice cream and so they're done with the salad. So it is a hard line to find, but really it's just not pushing them past the point of when they're done, they're done.
It's true, I definitely can relate to this because I have tried to push my son to eat 1 extra bite, the last bite, not to those extremes, but I have seen some parents that do, to the point where their child actually throws up because they're so full. And physiologically speaking, their bellies are so little and they can only hold so much food that extra bite to them, it's enough to make them throw up. So, you know, just watch out about that. I talk to so many moms that tell me, is there anything I can do to help my child eat more? Is there any vitamin? Is there any supplement to open their appetites? And you know, sometimes they just don't need it. And it may look to us like they do need that extra bit more, but they really don't. So as long as your child is healthy and as long as your pediatrician thinks that your child is healthy, that's really all that matters. Alright, well, thank you for watching this video. I hope it helped. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to comment or send me a direct message. I hope you have a great day. Bye.
Bye.